Resident Evil 3 Remake had the tough job of serving as both a remake/reimagining of a survival horror classic and as a worthy follow-up to last year's Resident Evil 2 Remake, and in my opinion did an excellent job overall. Resident Evil 3 Remake is a terrifying, intense survival horror thrill ride from beginning to end. It's gorgeous, atmospheric, and incredibly fun to play. The campaign is excellent, perhaps one of the best in the series, and does a great job of capturing the characters, aesthetics, tone, and atmosphere of the original, while combining it with the addicting gameplay and attention to detail of the previous remake, even surpassing it in some ways. The combat is more refined in this game with the addition of Jill's dodge, allowing Jill Valentine to quickly evade dangerous attacks and counter exposed enemies. Enemies are aggressive and plentiful, making for intense skirmishes that will force the player to pick between fight or flight. The weapon variety is solid, from pistols and shotguns to grenade launchers and magnums, to the extremely cool unlockable weapons. They're all fun to use, and like everything in this game, visually and audibly detailed. Though the zombie models aren't much different this time to Resident Evil 2's, the enemy variety is great all around. Nemesis Alpha Parasites, Pale Heads, Hunter Betas, Hunter Gammas, Drain Demos, the recurring enemies from Resident Evil 2, they're all really cool, scary, and fun enemies to fight, and each provide unique challenges to prevent the player from steamrolling. Nemesis Alphas are ranged, hard to dodge, Pale Heads are quick, and they can regenerate health. Hunters are tough and fast, and they possess an instant kill attack. Drain Demos and Lickers slow down the player's approach. And of course Nemesis, one of the series' most famous elements brought back to modern systems and terrifying flaming glory. Nemesis is a brutal, quick, and immortal opponent who will constantly ambush and outmaneuver Jill Valentine on her escape. He has more ways of attacking and pursuing the player than Mr. X did in Resident Evil 2, and as an enemy, is just overall more difficult to manage. Nemesis is a very similar monster to Mr. X, but is different in certain aspects. The player is graced with moments and sections where he doesn't chase after you, which helps to break up the gameplay formula, but could disappoint some by making Nemesis feel scripted. Though in the grand scheme of things, he really doesn't feel any more scripted to me than Mr. X in Resident Evil 2 Remake or Nemesis in the original. I was a little disappointed at first, but after dozens of further playthroughs, no longer really felt bothered by it. The Nemesis sections are still terrifying and intense. So while I can't say Nemesis is better or scarier than Mr. X stomping towards you in the RPD, I also can't say Nemesis monstrally groaning stars and pulling you away from Moon Donuts is worse either. The locations are really great, they're all pretty unique and immersive, and each provide a good amount of backtracking and exploration, though not to the extent of Resident Evil 2. The game's music is fantastic as well, much better than Resident Evil 2's, with some great compositions, both classic and new, that really make certain moments of the game shine. Something else of note are the amazing Carlos segments, which are greatly expanded upon in the game, and the strong amount of unlockables that can be obtained from completing the game, like models, concept art, records, and arguably the best new game plus in any Resident Evil game shop. Samurai Edge, stat coins, stars manual, infinite weapons, and of course the hot dogger, an Umbrella developed superheated knife that ignites both enemies and the love in my heart. Overall, Resident Evil 3 is a wonderful game and somewhat faithful remake, with a lot of charm, beauty, fear, and replayability. Yes, some content from the original would be appreciated, content that had been left out. And yes, as good as the shop is, Mercenaries mode shouldn't have been left out. But for what this game is, a remake of a cheesy late 90s survival horror game and follow-up to Resident Evil 2 Remake, it is damn good at what it does. The game's apparently successful, it's sold 3 million, and I'm very happy to hear that because I love Resident Evil 3, I love Resident Evil 2, I love Resident Evil, and I hope they keep these remakes up. Very scary, very fun. Some of my favorite games ever. Resident Evil 3 Remake, alongside its predecessor, Resident Evil 2, are both respectively Game of the Year of that year. Resident Evil 3 Remake is my game of the year of 2020, and I really love it. So buy and play this before Nemesis eats you.